Hey, this is 9.3. How can you estimate statistics from data displayed on a histogram? That's what we're going to look at today. Histograms, hopefully remember, are like bar graphs where you just connect the bars. So how to create a histogram, just go over that for a minute. First you create a frequency table, establish your intervals. So I was looking at data of senators and the ages of them at the, I think it was the last congressional meeting. Anyway, or the Senate House meeting. Anyway, the age intervals fell nicely. 30 to 39, there were two of them. 40 to 49, 10. 50 to 59, 30. 60 to 69, about 37. And 70 to 79, 18. And 80 to 89 years old, there were only 3. So I established a frequency table first, and then from that I drew my histogram. Now what we're really looking at today is when you look at a histogram, because on your standardized test you're going to be given histograms, you won't be given all the data or the frequency table, and you need to be able to establish some things. First off, I would say be able to describe this shape. Basically, that doesn't have a real skew left or skew right. It's pretty symmetric, so I would hope that you would mention that. Estimate the center of the data. Well, we can tell just by this. There is 2 here, 10 here, 18 here. I'm sorry, that's 30. 30 there. 37 there, 18 there, and 3 there. So the center is about 20, that's about 12. Center's going to be in the 60 to 69. You know, right in here, down on the lower end of the 60 to 69. You should be able to explain what the maximum range and the minimum range would be. Well, the maximum would be 89. If your senator up here was 89 and your senator here was 30, that would be your maximum range of 59 years. So that would be a max. Your minimum range would be if your 3 senators were all 80 years old, so your highest age or your greatest value is 80, and your 2 senators here were at 39, then your minimum would be 41. It's important to be able to give all that in a paragraph discussing a histogram on, for example, an end of course exam. Using only the histogram, first find the mean. I want to explain how we do this. I've written it all out so that you can pause the video and you can actually write this in your notes and ask questions. But looking only at the histogram, the first thing I do is I put a number value above each column. Then what I do to find the mean is I take that range, and the average between 30 and 40 is 35, so I just take the middle of it, 35, multiply it by 2. Then I add the next one, 10 times 45, 30 times 55, 37 times 65, 18 times 75, and 3 times 85. I get a total there. And then there were 100 senators altogether that I tallied in my data. So I divide it by the number there are, and that's how I get my average. Okay? Real important that you can get an average from a histogram. Now to find the median, oh, I'm sorry, the lights went out. Forgot that I turned off my other light. To find the median, we would take, and we know there's 100 values, so we know that the median would be between 50 and 51, and that would divide that by 2. So we count up, there's 42 different values clear up to that 37 column, this middle one. And so in order to get to 50, we would have to go 42 plus 8 more. To get to 51, it would be plus 9. So 42 plus 8.5 would be our median value. So in the 37 values there, I take 8.5 divided by 37, and I see that's about 20% of those values. I take the lower limit of that column, 60, plus 20% times the width of the column, which is 10, and I find that my median would be about 62. Okay? Remember to come to class with this written down and ask specific questions where I lose you. We'll do some of these to help you practice in class. So now we go back to yesterday's board, or the previous lesson, shapes of the data. Does this make sense that my mean would be 62 and my median would be 62? Does that agree with the fact that I said it was symmetric and my median and my mean would agree? They would be equal. You always want to look back at what you've said on the skewed left, skewed right, and the symmetric and see if your values actually come out that way. This is perfect. We said it was about symmetric, and my mean and my median are equal. Okay? So keep this one in your notes from yesterday, highlight it. Okay, now, mean and median, does this agree with the shape? Yes, we've established that. Now it says estimate the IQR. Well, if we have 100 values, we know that the first quarter is at 25 and the third quarter is at 75. To get our IQR, we've got to take the third quarter minus the first quarter. So again, we do just like we did on the mean. So watch this if you were confused on it. What I do is I take my values. There was 2, 10, and 30. Well, I know that my 25th value is going to be in this column, because there's 12 there, so I've got to go 13 into this column. So I take 13 divided by 30. I get that it's 0.43. That's 43% across of it. And then I take the lower limit of this column, 50, plus 0.43 times 10, and I get the 54.3. That's an estimate of what my lower quartile is. On my upper quartile, I realize I need to get up to 75, so I add all these, 30, 40, 42. My next column is 37. Well, 42 plus 33 is 75, so it's going to be near the end of this column. So I take 33 divided by 37, I get 0.89. It's clear over here in the column of values. 0.89 times 10 is 8.9 plus the 60, which is the lower limit of that column, comes out to be 68.9. That's my third quartile and my first quartile, so I subtract them and I get that my inner quartile range is 14.6. So that's how we manipulate the data on histograms. Study these, come ask lots of questions. Sorry for the lights out.